All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. Time for the right guys. I am Ralph J. Chittams Sr. Of course, sitting with me as always is none other than...
I'm Lonnie Poindexter, and we're broadcasting live from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., via FHR Media and the Exceptional Conservative Network.
That's right. And we always tell you who we are up front, so there will be no mistaking what you are about to hear. We are humans by race, Christians by faith, Americans by nationality, and conservatives by choice, because that is the only position that makes sense. And
if perchance we, the rest of occasions we might get something wrong, always know this, we're still always going to be right.
We'll always be right. Brother Lonnie, how are you today? It's good to talk to you.
I'm glad it's Friday.
You know, I'm feeling the same way. I am so glad it's Friday. I don't know what to do with myself. You know, it's been a week.
Yes.
Well, just to let you, I started off today up until 20 minutes ago, and I started at 9 o'clock this morning doing my taxes.
Oh, I feel for you.
Why is it that doing taxes is a full-time job?
Because government's full-time job is removing said money from your pocket.
It's absolutely, and I'm not done. I'm not finished. It's absolutely insane. I spent my whole morning in my jammies until 20 minutes ago doing my taxes. Then I jumped in the shower and got ready for the show.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
It's very sad, yet it's the plight that we deal with in this wonderful nation that we live in. And, you know, you hear politicians and even our duly elected or recently elected president who talks about making things better. Do you think we'll ever get to where we have some relief in that area? I saw it once in California, believe it or not, and that's the Howard Jarvis initiative went forth, and the California property taxes just went through the roof, so much so that when I was growing up and my siblings and I would see my father doing tax time, we would avoid him for about a month or two.
Yeah, the problem with the California tax simplification plan was we take 95%, we put you on welfare, you keep 5%, be happy.
That's pretty much what it was. But property taxes in California for many, many years were reasonable within the realm of most of the other states in the country. And then once liberals got a hold of in office and they just began to creep up. I just remember them going, according to him, now I was too young to even understand, what that all meant. All I knew is come tax season, Dad was not a happy guy to be around.
Right.
And all of a sudden, turn those doggone lights off. So him being a lifelong Democrat, he crossed the aisle during the Howard Jarvis initiative, and they rebelled, the state rebelled, the people did, and pushed back, and they instituted that tax reform to keep property taxes within the realm of reason, and the liberals in the California are still fighting to undo the Howard Jarvis initiatives.
Oh, well, absolutely. I have yet to meet a liberal that didn't like any tax that was rolled out. That seems to be their MO. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, today, and every Friday, is what we call on the right guys, Wild Card Friday. There are a couple of things going on in the world, a couple of stories that we want to touch on, and we'll hit those. But today's the day where Lonnie and I are working without a net.
Yes, and it's not because we just think we're all that. It's because by Friday we run out of things to talk about.
Oh, no. Oh, trust me. There's a whole lot of stuff out here we could talk about, but...
Really?
Yeah, but, sometimes you just need to be able to just... we're friends and we're brothers, and, we don't need to be structured all the time.
No, not at all.
We need to be able to just be free every once in a while. And so
even when we have a structure, and even didn't have a game plan. We're known to go down the occasional rabbit hole. So, and I don't know if that's me, my influence on him, or his influence on me.
Well, we both like rabbits, so it's a mutual benefit society. Yeah, so now, well, one of the first things I wanted to talk about, of course, we have to start off the show before we, go off into Never Never Land, is speaking about our President Trump. Well, it seems as though when this administration draws a line in the sand, they mean it.
Yeah.
Unlike our previous resident of the White House, who would draw a line in the sand and then back up and draw another line and then back up and draw another line. No, this president, when he draws a line, he's not joking.
Previous administration drew so many lines in the sand that the opposition just started playing tic-tac-toe with them. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what they did. It's like, let's see if we can make him back up some more. Yeah. Well, for our listeners who don't know, President Trump's administration today smacked sanctions on companies and individuals doing business in Iran due to Iran's illegal ballistic missile launch test. Wow. Can you imagine that being done under His Royal Highness?
Oh, no. He would never stoop to anything like that. We had 8 years to see if that was going to happen. We never saw it, so no.
No, because Valerie Jarrett wouldn't let him do it.
Yeah.
She had more control of the White House than he did.
Yeah, Big Mama said no.
Exactly. Big Mama said no. The Treasury Department today announced sanctions against 13 individuals and 12 companies. Those targeted included agents, companies, and associates involved in procuring ballistic missile technology for Iran. So, this president, in his first 2 weeks, is sending a clear message to the world that when he speaks, he means what he says and says what he means. I think that's the sign of a good leader.
It's a definite sign of good leadership. Leadership that's not afraid to take a stand and not afraid to hold people accountable. Or nations, as it were.
Right. Now, Iran is going to bluster and they're going to stamp their feet and they're going to holler and scream. But Iran is not going to do anything to the United States. Oh, yeah. I forgot. They already did something to the United States. Lonnie, we're going to have to cancel our vacation plans. We can't visit Iran this year.
Oh, God. I was dead set on going, man.
I know. I had my visa. I was all packed, ready to go. And then the Iranians said that they were going to bar and ban Americans from coming into Iran. Oh, my goodness. I am going to have to find someplace else to go on vacation.
How many people are going to Iran? Maybe 5?
Well, we can. Valerie Jarrett. We can definitely start with her.
Yeah.
The Obamas. They definitely go to Iran. Nobody I know personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, they hit these companies and individuals with sanctions due to this missile launch. Now, they did not go so far as to reverse the nuclear deal that President Trump has repeatedly said is a bad deal for America. So they didn't touch that, and they didn't, suspend that agreement, didn't revoke it, didn't do anything. But they definitely sent Iran a message that y'all need to stop playing with us because we're not playing with you anymore. We're kind of done with you. So, there's the cue for our first commercial break. So, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we're going to have more of Wildcard Fridays. Who knows what we're going to talk about, what subjects we're going to hit. But stay belted in. I'm sure it's going to be a fun day. Be back in just a minute.
Hi, It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette of Money Talk with Melanie on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m., we talk all things money on a global, domestic, and household scale that affects you and your wallet. You don't want to miss it.
The best late night conservative talk show in America. That is radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best conservative talk. That is John and that is Clint. And we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best late night conservative talk, TACAS Radio.
TACAS.
From the war front to the streets of our nation's capital. Men of faith. Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor, and Kenneth McClinton, the exceptional conservative, bring both constitutional gravitas and spiritual perspective on today's issues to the most influential Christian urban talk show. It's a new day on New Day, Black and Red.
Good morning.
I'm Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Okay, folks, that's not how it goes. I think I'm Shannon, and you're
so.
Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. We are The Right Way with Shannon and Mike.
Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Live on SHR Media.
And on TECN.
Where we'll be talking about all kinds of things.
From sports and politics.
To food and entertainment.
To money.
Family.
And anything else in between.
Community, holidays.
It'll be great. Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to The Right Guys. I am Ralph J. Chittams Sr., and of course with me is...
I'm Lonnie Poindexter, and we are broadcasting from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., via SHR Media and the Exceptional Conservative Network.
Yes, we are. Okay, well, the next thing I want to... sticking with the president. Another story broke earlier today about this administration not playing, and you actually brought this to my attention when we were talking before we went on the air. You want to mention that briefly?
What was that? It's Friday, man.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Oh no, Nikki Haley at the UN.
Oh yes, Nikki Haley. Yes, she rebuked Russia in her first UN address. So
Wait. What did you just say?
She rebuked Russia.
She rebuked who?
Yes. the same entity that they say President Trump is so chummy with, Mr. Putin.
She said something critical of Putin's Russia?
Oh, yeah, the release of the Crimea, brother. Yeah, they need to come correct in that area. So I thought that was interesting in light of all the snowflakes and screaming liberals who say that President Trump is so chummy with the fearless leader of Russia. So interesting. Keep on stepping on them sacred cows.
So here, this is one of her first appearances at the UN, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe it was her first address.
So her first address at the United Nations, and she goes directly at Russia's involvement in Crimea and tells them to cut it out.
Yeah, she got a little bit of pit bull in her. I'm liking this, Nikki. I mean, I've been checking her out when she was the governor, but I'm liking her. What about you, bro?
I'm liking it too, but what this just drives the point that you and I have been making and a lot of others have been making about this administration and about this president.
Yeah.
You can't put him into a box. Now, everybody knows that whether we like it or not, there are still really two superpowers as far as weaponry is concerned on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Now, when you talk about economics, now you're talking about different superpowers. But when you're talking about countries that have the ability to obliterate all life on the face of the earth multiple times over, there are really two countries that are capable of doing it. So why wouldn't Donald Trump, as the President of the United States, seek to form some sort of a friendly, communicative relationship with the leader of the second country who could destroy the earth multiple times over? It seems to make sense to me.
Makes sense to me. I mean, yeah, you got two superpowers, one being the U.S., the other one, nuclear weaponry, and which some of they still aren't accountable for because they don't know where it is after the fall of the former Soviet bloc. But yeah, you know, you and I know that the mainstream media, drive-by media, whatever you want to call them, pushing a narrative that this so-called chumminess, and I never saw that with Donald Trump. I just saw him going, well, there's no sense of saying anything bad about the guy until I'm officially ensconced in office, and I can deal with you right now. Oh, we'll get along just fine. Right. Any adversary that you're dealing with, you'll say that we get along just fine.
Right, exactly. Right. He's the president-elect. Why is he gonna pick a fight when he has absolutely no stick?
No stick. Well, Obama can do that. He has done that, but I guess this president understands that that's not a good look.
Right.
Bad optics.
Right. But now that he is, in fact, the president, and he has our U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, he has the stick. And Nikki Haley swung it.
She sure did.
Yeah. So it's going to be really interesting to hear what the talking heads are going to say now that Nikki's first foray into international relations at the United Nations was to take a swipe at Vladimir Putin and Russia.
And it wasn't a love tap either, brother.
Oh, no. No. I mean, she said, we stand with the people of Crimea.
Yeah.
That's one heck of an endorsement. You know, it's the same as Donald Trump saying, you know, to the people at the March for Life, I stand with you. I stand for life. And everybody just hollered and screamed and jumped up and down and were so happy. Well, that statement that he made carries the same force as the one that Nikki Haley made today.
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out in the media going forward because they're not going to know what to do with this.
No, they're not going to do well. They're not going to know what to do with it. Then they'll come up with a creative way to shape-shift it into something else completely. And since we're beating up on the media and we're talking about the newly elected president, did you see in One News Now a piece that they posted that talks about that the newly elected president's approval rating is near 60%?
Yep. And then I saw the Clinton News Network and the rest of the media say that he is the president with the lowest approval rating of any president in the first 2 weeks of his office. So
just goes to show you, somewhere in their lives the truth. So according to the Rasmussen reports, they conducted a nationwide poll of American adults who are likely hit the ballot box, and the nearly was 59 and change percent approving of President Trump. 44% said they strongly agree of his job performance, while just 31 say they strongly disapprove. office a month yet. So the numbers, which were supposedly appallingly low prior to inauguration, are now 60-something%. But, brother, wait till the job numbers and so forth approve and he begins to fix and does away with Obamacare. This guy can end up somewhere around 70% approval rating.
Look, you know, I mean, I said it to you, and you kind of looked at me sideways when I said it. I said if he gets 10% of his domestic agenda done by 2018 and another 15% done by 2020, he's going to be reelected in a landslide.
Yeah, you did say that, and I was like, okay. But you're the one that said he was going to get elected. I was still going, I don't know. Oh, boy.
Yeah, but he's doing what and here's what's fun. He's doing what he said he was going to do. Nobody should be surprised by this. You know, and the fact that the press is saying, you know, he's obsessed with keeping his campaign promises. Well, if he didn't keep his campaign promises, we'd be taking chunks out of him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you say you're going to do something when you're running for office. When you get the office, we expect you to do what you said you were going to do because that's why we voted for you.
Listen to this, brother. Here's another excerpt from this article. It says, asked about their take on Trump's statement when he told Americans that for too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government while the people have borne the cost. Rasmussen found that an impressive 72% of participants in the survey agreed with his statement.
Well, absolutely, because it's the truth.
Yeah.
Well, you know, what we have developed here in this country, which is what the founding fathers wanted to avoid at all costs, is a professional class of politicians.
Yep.
The founding fathers never wanted there to be a professional class of politicians, and that's exactly what we have cultivated in this country. And all you have to do is look at what's going on in the business sector with Donald Trump, Ivanka, you know, Melania, and anybody else with a Trump name, and you can see why business people and entrepreneurs don't get involved in politics.
Yeah.
You know, the latest story is that Nordstrom's now is kicking Ivanka's line completely out of their stores.
Well, they're going to. Well, Nordstrom is headquartered in Seattle, Washington, so that par for the course.
Right.
But Nordstrom and always had a strong reputation for being customer oriented. But I tell you, they probably do not understand their client base. Not everybody shopping at Nordstrom is a bleeding heart liberal.
And definitely not in this part of the country. And of course, they're saying that, you know, they're discontinuing her line because her sales numbers are not what they should be, and they're lagging. But there was this petition out there that garnered all these signatures that told them to dump her line, and they, you know, go ahead and do it. But now they're claiming it had nothing to do with this petition. Right. You know, come on. We're not stupid.
Macy's pulled some of that kind of foolishness and it affected them directly in their bottom line, so much so that when they did with Donald Trump's line of clothing, and today, and this was announced, a month or two ago, Macy's has decided to back off on funding Planned Parenthood. See, they begin to understand, they don't know their customer base, they just think they know them based upon these consultants and these folks that come in here with these so-called petitions and so forth. And same thing's going to happen in Nordstrom. You know, I used to work with Nordstrom many years ago as a vendor, and they prided themselves on customer service, and I mean, it was just exemplary. I mean, it made you want to buy their clothes even though they were expensive because of the service.
Right.
But when you're out of touch with the personnel, see, Ralph, here's the deal. They think the real world is the left coast and the right coast. They don't understand the whole rest of America rolls to completely different drummer. Right. And they're going to learn some hard lessons.
Right. And also, they're forgetting another really, really huge, important fact. Most of the people that sign these petitions live in their mama's basements and ain't got no money.
That's the point. We're not shopping at Nordstrom from anyway.
Right. Right. There are a bunch of college-educated snowflakes who majored in lesbian studies or something else equally stupid, and they'll never be able to feed themselves. And they sit around all day on their computer in their mama's basement, and they sign and start these petitions. And then the people with the real money, who don't hold those worldviews, these companies acquiesce to these little snowflakes. And then people like us who have a few coins to rub together, we go, really? And we take our money someplace else.
Take our money someplace else. That's exactly what it is. They're responding to people that it isn't even their customer base. Because anybody that's willing to spend $150 for a shirt or a business shirt, or $300 for a pair of high heels or something like that, is not the person living in their mama's basement.
Exactly. Exactly. So they're cutting off their nose to spite their face.
Yeah.
But also, and we also can't dismiss this. These stores also have to be afraid that if they don't go along and cave into these petitions, these little crazies are going to show up in this store and start trouble.
Yeah.
And these stores don't need a whole bunch of people running around with masks on their face and black outfits, setting off smoke and stink bombs in their store and driving out customers, ruining $1 million worth of merchandise simply because their butt hurt because their girl didn't win the White House.
Yeah, I agree with you. So they're kind of between that rock and a hard place. But at some point you have to take a stand and say, well, we'll just increase security, and we get individuals doing that, we'll throw their butts out if local law enforcement does not do that. Because, here's the deal, going back to the Target boycott. Once people's buying habits change, and, stores like Nordstrom and Macy's and all these traditional brick and mortars are under tremendous pressure because of online business.
Absolutely.
And so they need to be cognizant of that. Once people of means have made a decision to go elsewhere, and the preponderance of Americans in America are like what Herman Cain said, have common sense, they're not stupid, and they change their buying habits, you don't get those people back, bro.
No, you're not going to get them back. And they will have literally lost and cost themselves and their shareholders millions of dollars because they listened to a petition signed by a bunch of people who can't afford to buy what's in the store in the first place. So
the Lady Trumps, Melania, Ivanka, all those Trump women dress very nicely. It would take nothing for them to just make a decision to launch their own clothing lines, and some smart individual that would pick up on it as a designer who would want to get behind it and launch their own brick and mortars. And it would do just like the old Chick-fil-A thing. Folks would be shot. There'd be lines outside the store.
I would have no problem opening up an Ivanka boutique here in Washington, D.C. I would make money hand over fist.
Yeah, brother.
And one of the first things I would do as a business owner in the District of Columbia is I would make sure I obtained my concealed carry permit, because that is, if you're a business owner, it is easy to get a concealed carry permit for you to be armed inside of your place of business. That's the easiest way, the easiest route to getting a concealed carry. Now, you can only carry that gun, while you're at work inside the store. But I will open Ivanka's boutique in upper Northwest Washington. I will get my concealed carry permit, and the first anarchist that comes through my door and throws a stink bomb will need an EMT to get out.
Yeah. You just reminded me of something. Speaking of stores and protests, Taylor Gourmet here in our nation's capital, I think they've got 3 locations, is being harassed and boycotted because one of the proprietors for the chain attended a meeting that Trump had with business people this past week. And so now he's catching threats and catching heat. So I saw this post on social media because the mother of the proprietor is one of my Facebook friends. And so I responded to her, proud of your young man. I got to make a point of visiting that establishment and buying a sandwich. It's Taylor Gourmet in Washington, D.C.
Taylor
Gourmet? Can't let these fools intimidate you. Yeah.
Okay, you said it's Taylor Gourmet?
Taylor Gourmet.
I'm writing that down. Well, and you saw what happened to the CEO of Uber. You know, he went to one of the business advisory meetings, and all of a sudden they announced a boycott of Uber, and these snowflakes started dropping their apps. Started, boycotting Uber, discontinuing their apps, deleting it from their phones, to the point where he relented, and he's no longer going to be a part of this business advisory.
Develop a pair. Come on.
But honestly, with him, it's what he does really has an impact on people that have nothing to do with him.
Right.
You know, most of the people who drive for Uber, oh, I can't say most, but the people who drive for Uber run the complete gamut from bleeding heart liberal progressives to stone cold conservatives.
Yeah, it's a cross section of America.
Right.
I agree.
And I know this because I'm in an Uber more often than I should be. Let's just leave it at that. But because he was going to be on this advisory, here we go again. These snowflakes who don't have a job and don't have a future, they're going to take food out of the mouths of somebody's child simply because they're having a hissy fit. So, for him, I kind of understand why he may have stepped back, because there are legitimate little people who are getting hurt by this. But you're right, but at some point, somebody has to take a stand.
Yeah, Ralph, and Uber's big enough and has depth and breadth that it would just be, in my opinion, it would be a blip. Because remember back what happened to the CEO of Mozilla when he took a stand based upon religious liberties as it related to, I believe it was abortion.
Right.
And they forced him out of his job.
Yep. And that's what's frightening about this country. We're headed towards fascism, and it's being driven by the progressive left.
Yes.
Where if you don't agree with them, where if you don't go along with them, they are going to destroy you. It's, I'm a Star Trek guy, and they are the Borg.
They are.
Resistance is futile. You will be assimilated. If you refuse to be assimilated, you will be destroyed. Now, the question I have, is this the America that Democrats want? Because if it isn't, they need to get out of bed with these anarchists, and they need to join us and fight against these fools. But if this is the America that they do want, then stay in bed with the anarchists, and we on the right will fight both of you. So the ball's in their court.
Yeah, it certainly is.
So, all right. See, Fridays are great because you and I can just go off on rants. I hope it's entertaining to those who are listening. But as you say in the opening, we're always right.
Still always going to be right.
We're always going to be right. So, so Nordstrom caved in. The CEO from Uber, he caved in. Like I said, the America that we're living in now is not the America that I grew up in. And I'm not that old.
And, if you think about that statement you just made, Ralph, in the America that you and I grew up in, those who have the darker paint jobs like you and I, it was more difficult for certain choices and opportunities. Yet it was still better than some of the foolishness we deal with now.
Well, at least then there was an opportunity for discussion.
Yeah.
When I hit Howard University in the late 70s, it was a bastion of different ideas just going back and forth, and just fighting for the hearts and minds of people. But now, if you don't agree, you're just going to get summarily shut down, and that's going to be the end of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hear the music cue, so it's time for us to take our Next commercial break, listen to these words from our partner, Pastor Donovan Larkin, Protecting Innocence and the Shekinah Ranch.
Hello, I'm Donovan Larkins, pastor of Spirit of Life Christian Center in Dayton, Ohio. But I'm also the director of Shekinah Ranch and the Shekinah Ranch Protecting Innocence campaign. And today I want to just share with you some of our materials that we've developed so that you too can be part of promoting prevention, education, and safety awareness to youth. We have now our Protecting Innocence t-shirt. It's a powerful marquee or billboard that you can purchase and wear yourself that brings awareness that children need advocacy. It's a powerful, powerful piece. It's simply a picture of that with this marquee here with some additional wording. You will want to be a part. We have posters that any of you pastors or any of you community centers, you may want to obtain some of these posters and post in the recreation center. It would be great to post this in the foyer of your church. It would be awesome for you to post this throughout the schools of your community. Involvement is what's necessary. Involvement is what makes a difference. We know that in order for evil to triumph, all that is necessary is for good men and women to be done. And then we have these little marquees. You can order 100 of them, you can order 50 of them, and you can pass them around to your family. You can pass them around at a family event or a local event that you're going to do at a festival or something. These are very handy, very cost efficient, and they make a powerful statement. They really make an impact. And then we have Protecting Innocence ribbon. And in this package, it's not only just the ribbon, but it also has a message, a safety awareness message, actually a tip. And the tip encourages parents to exercise scrutiny with the relationships that your children are involved in. Today, we see more and more children being victimized by teachers, by coaches, and by other supposedly trusted individuals. We have to prepare our children as we plan for them to be safe. And then you will want to be involved with the overall Protecting Innocence campaign because we're making plans right now to build a retreat recovery center on our 150-acre campus where Shekinah Ranch is housed. And you can get this brochure. We can email it to you. That way there's no cost associated with it so that you can learn how you can join our Protecting Innocence team. We are communicating with people globally, all over the world, that are interested in how together we can protect children from dirty, evil child molesters. We love to have you on board. We need your support. We want your prayers, and we welcome your financial contributions. Again, I'm Donovan Larkins, Shekinah Ranch Protecting Innocence campaign. And by the way, camps are coming. So call us so that you can register your child. 937-422-6029.
Hi, my name is Willie Lawson of The Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network, Monday through Fridays, 9 a.m. They told me that I needed to be humble, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I decided to be awesome instead. That's The Willie Lawson Show, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. here on the Exceptional Conservative Network.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to The Right Guys. I am Ralph J. Chittams Sr., and flying the plane with me is
Lonnie Poindexter, and we are broadcasting live from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., via SHR Media and the Exceptional Conservative Network.
Absolutely. So, there's an interesting story. Well, no, let me go to the one that made me mad first. The executive director of the Sierra Club. Now, you know who they are, right?
Oh, yeah, Tree Hugger Central.
Tree Hugger Central. They've never met a smelt or a chicken egg or anything else in the animal kingdom or tree that they are not completely and totally enamored with.
Yes.
You know,
as long as it's cute, snuggly, and furry, they're on board with it.
Well,
you never hear them complaining about the plight of the lowly alligator.
Well, no, they do. I mean, if
they do.
Oh yeah. Oh, the eggs.
Oh yeah, because they're cute when they're little when they come out of the eggs.
Right.
Not when they're 12 feet long.
No. I mean, the only thing they care about. I mean, they're upset that people use the alligator and crocodile skins for shoes. That ticks them off. But this organization that prides itself on fighting for the life of everything in the animal kingdom, the Sierra Club, the executive director of the Sierra Club, Michael Brune. I'm going to say his name again. Michael Brune. He said that abortion is a critical tool for protecting the environment from the threat of overpopulation.
Oh, no, he didn't.
It helps to address the number of the people that we have on this planet. We, speaking for the organization, feel that one of the ways in which we can get to a sustainable population is to empower women to make choices about their own families. They want to use abortion as population control. Now, where are the abortion centers, where are the abortuaries located?
Over 70% of abortion centers are located in communities where black and brown people live within walking distance.
So, the Sierra Club's executive director, Michael Brune, is an advocate of eugenics. I mean, am I missing something?
No, I think you nailed it. I'm sure it was a prerequisite in his interview process to getting the job.
Right.
They all tend to roll together.
Right. But he had absolutely no problem with saying this on Tucker Carlson's television show.
Did Tucker nail him? Because it certainly sounds racist and bigotry to me.
I don't know. I haven't had a chance to view the clip, but I'm gobsmacked. I mean, this is the organization. Like I said, they've never met a smelt, an eagle egg, anything else in the animal kingdom that they will not fight tooth and nail to protect. Wait a minute. So if they will fight to protect an eagle's egg under the premise that it's an eagle, then what is a human embryo? Exactly. See, even their own internal logic doesn't work. If something that's inside of an egg that was laid by an eagle is considered to be an eagle, then why isn't what is growing inside of a woman considered to be human?
I would say that's an obvious conclusion, but that's where they glaze over. What I hear coming from them is it's the woman's choice to determine whether it's human or not.
Right. So, I mean, this is just, you know, and I know somebody who's very active with the Sierra Club, and I just went public and said, I'm done with them.
Yep.
I am done. The Sierra Club, you're going to love this. The Sierra Club is mobilizing its members across the country to join the Center for Community Change, United We Dream, SEIU, Planned Parenthood, and the Human Rights Campaign. You have got to be
Ralph,
kidding
you're the one
me.
that said it. You said that they were losing, so the end result is they're going to pull out all stops. They've got to unify now. They've all kind of operated underneath a veil of, you know, nobody would never normally associate the Sierra Club with anything having to do with Planned Parenthood, right? No, we're just about saving animals and saving the environment. But they've got to marshal their resources now because Common Sense America is awake.
Right. And so you're getting this unholy alliance of unions and baby death brokers and every other loon on the left coming together.
Yep.
And of course, he is raising his voice now with others in opposition to Justice Gorsuch.
Yeah.
So I literally, when I ran across this article, I was so angry. The Sierra Club, you know, fighting for the life of insects, doesn't give a rat's you-know-what about preborn children.
No. If they can shut down farms in California and ranchers and so forth over insignificant animals and God's creation, then why would they care anything about babies? Makes perfect sense.
Well, in their twisted mind, it makes sense, but for me, it's just like I'm done.
Yep.
I am done with the Sierra Club. You know, because
I'm glad they expose themselves.
Yeah.
Now we can beat up on them in the public square and let them be seen. Hey, I bet you $100 though that they can get the NAACP to stand with them.
Oh, of course. You know, and you know where I live here in Washington D.C., there's this tributary of the Anacostia River. It's called Pope Creek that runs right behind my house, and we have a couple of times a year these community cleanups where we come and make sure that, you know, we get all, because, you know, people are idiots. You know, they come and dump stuff. And so we clean up the tributary, we clean up the land abutting the tributary so that none of these contaminants go into the Anacostia River, and we actually have a clean tributary, which honestly, when I first moved into my house, was dead. There was no life at all in this tributary. And now, in the past 10 years, you know, life has come back.
You know, life there. It's like Wild Kingdom back there.
Right. and exactly. And I say all that to say that one of the organizations that helps with the cleanup is the Sierra Club.
Mm-hmm.
Well, wait till they show up at the next cleanup. Boy, am I going to have something to say to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're coming out into the black community, into the hood, where you're out here to protect the animals and the wildlife, but you don't care about the actual people who live here, the unborn children. You need to take your bags, pack up, and go someplace else.
Yep.
We can do this on our own without you. Goodbye. And it's I'm revved up, Lonnie.
Wait, you sound like me now. Sometimes there's just no words, man.
Yeah,
sometimes it's just only a groan will do.
Yeah, I don't understand how this organization, out of most, could take this stand, considering they're just so pro-life, for all life, clearly now, except for human life.
Exactly. They're pro-critters, not
right.
pro-people.
Exactly. Well, Lonnie, I was informed that we're supposed to be taking a break also at 4:55, 5 minutes before the hour. So we need to take this little break now so that we can be in compliance with our network. We don't want to run afoul of them. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We will be right back in just a couple of minutes.
Welcome to Lion Chasers, where faith and public policy intersect. And now, your Lion Chaser in the good fight of faith, Lonnie Poindexter on Urban Family Talk.
We're not saying that there's not instances where there's maybe racial injustice somewhere. This is America, and people are human, and there's sin in the world. He's the president of first. He's the first president to say that America is not a Christian nation anymore. But, we'll pray for our enemies while we defeat them.
You can't blame folks for messing up the city. There has not been an elected Republican in council in Baltimore City in 50 years.
In the co-captain's chair with me today, Reverend Ralph Chittams.
What's happened is the social justice movement has now been hijacked by a godless movement.
Don't be bamboozled. Ladies and gentlemen, Frederick Douglass was a gun-toting conservative. It's not a black or a white issue. It's a God versus anti-God issue. And I know those would say, well, all rigged. It's all a game, Lonnie. Can I get that a lot? And they're the crew that has the bags packed at the train station waiting for Jesus to come back. He'll be here in a minute. My train went by. No, that wasn't Jesus. But he's coming. Meanwhile, Rome is burning. The host of the Black Man Thinking radio show. Welcome to the show, Stanley Levy.
Good morning, Ron. How are you?
The core issues that the elephants are in the home. We got to deal with the entitlement programs and the things that hamstring us.
And that's where the conservative viewpoints really resonate for my generation.
I want to welcome to the show the host of the Exceptional Conservative Show, and that's my brother Kenneth McClinton. Welcome, brother.
Lonnie, it was an honor and privilege always to be with your ever-expanding audience.
Let your listeners be Lion Chasers with Lonnie Poindexter. If Lion Chasers sounds right for your station network, contact Will Addison by email, waddison@asa.net. Encourage your listeners to be Lion Chasers with Lonnie Poindexter and Urban Family Talk.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America, Backheads Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best conservative talk. Backhead Sean and Backhead Clan. And we're working on immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here, too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for the closeout of the first hour of The Right Guys. So I took those few minutes to woosah and try to bring myself into a state of calm. But I'm still ticked off. Still.
I think the biblical term would be righteous indignation.
Absolutely, righteous indignation. And it takes a lot of brass to state publicly that you're a eugenicist.
Yeah.
I mean, that takes a lot of nerve.
But it's heavily tied to something I say all the time, that those who deem you as a victim, when you look at minorities and so forth, those individuals who say they have such compassion for you and that you're a victim also see you as inferior. So if you're inferior, then certainly, critters would have a strategic advantage or take precedence over your plight. And that's the issue that I have with liberals who come to me. It's no different than you and I talking, and you're walking to an elevator and happens to be somebody there, like some of our white brothers and sisters, and they strike up a conversation with you and then begin to defend President Obama. And they just assume that you're going to be joining right in with them.
Oh, absolutely. That's the best part.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the best part, when they just assume because of our paint job that we are going to be spouting their same insanity.
response, or the look on their faces when you respond back, I didn't vote for him.
Right, exactly. Well, all right. Well, it's the top of the hour. We have to take our 5-minute break now to run most of our promos. So, ladies and gentlemen, do what you have to do. You know, if you need to take that restroom break, but get back here at 5 after the hour, and the right guys will be back on the air.
The bloviating Zeppelin. He's big-footed enough radio shows to last a lifetime, courtesy of Sean, Clint, Ken, and Jersey Joe. Now it's time for him to waddle on his own 2 feet via the glorious SHR media. Gird thy loins for the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon. Coming soon to Ossicles near you. Excelsior.
Good morning.
I'm Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Okay, folks, that's not how it goes. I think I'm Shannon, and you're
so.
Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. We are The Right Way with Shannon and Mike.
Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Live on SHR Media.
And on TECN.
Where we'll be talking about all kinds of things.
From sports and politics.
To food and entertainment.
To money.
Family.
And anything else in between.
Community, holidays.
It'll be great. Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
The bloviating Zeppelin. He's big-footed enough radio shows to last a lifetime, courtesy of Sean, Clint, Ken, and Jersey Joe. Now it's time for him to waddle on his own 2 feet via the glorious SHR media. Gird thy loins for the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon. Coming soon to Ossicles near you. Excelsior.
Hi, my name is Willie Lawson of The Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network, Monday through Fridays, 9 a.m. They told me that I needed to be humble, but I couldn't figure out how to do it, so I decided to be awesome instead. That's The Willie Lawson Show, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. here on the Exceptional Conservative Network.
From the war front to the streets of our nation's capital, men of faith, Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor, and Kenneth McClinton, the exceptional conservative, bring both constitutional gravitas and spiritual perspective on today's issues to the most influential Christian urban talk show, 9:05 p.m. Eastern, Thursday. It's a new day on a new day, black and red.
Hi, it's your business diva here, Melanie Collette of Money Talk with Melanie on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. we talk all things money on a global, domestic, and household scale that affects you and your wallet. You don't want to miss it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back Welcome back to The Right Guys. Welcome back. I'm Ralph J. Chittams Sr., and with me, of course, is none other than...
I'm Lonnie Poindexter, and we are broadcasting live from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., via FHR Media and the Exceptional Conservative Network.
And that's right, and at the beginning of every show, at the beginning of every hour, we introduce ourselves. Because we are humans by race, Christians by faith, Americans by nationality, and conservatives by choice, because that is the only position that makes any sense at all. And
if perchance you happen to catch us on that rarest of occasions when we could possibly be wrong on a topic, please know this: we're still always, repeat, always going to be right.
That's it. That's money in the bank. We are always going to be right. So, all right. I'm off the ledge. I got my Coca-Cola.
Did you reel it back in?
Yeah, I'm more centered now.
Serenity now.
Yeah, but honestly, there are issues where we really do need to get righteously indignant. And, and the church has been honestly too soft and has not gotten mad when it needed to get mad.
Yep.
So for everybody, the Sierra Club, no more financial contributions. Go to the Sierra Club. Do not support them in any way, shape, or form. If they want to support eugenics and the killing of black and brown babies, they can do it without our money.
I think I'm going to launch a boycott of the Sierra Club page on Facebook.
Absolutely, because all of these organizations, they if these passionately uninformed liberals can start boycotting a store like Nordstrom's because they're selling Ivanka Trump's clothing line, I think we have a right to boycott the Sierra Club when they are advocating the extermination of our people.
Yes.
I think that this is a little bit further up the food chain than a pair of pumps.
No, I agree. And I bet if you move up the food chain and see where the money's coming from and connect the dots even further, you'll find that they probably get federal contributions of some flavor as well.
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah, we need to do that. We are announcing it right here on this show. We are announcing a boycott of the Sierra Club. Period. End of discussion. And we will get the petition up and running, and we will get it out into our social networks, because we want to send them the message that you cannot advocate for the life of a critter and then at the same time advocate the murder of a human. So, all right. That's what we can do. Oh, I'm looking in the chat room right now, and Creole Right Girl just said, yes, I can get behind that movement. All right. So, we are going to do this. So, let's see what happens when the body of Christ gets active.
But that Creole girl happened to be Sister Celeste.
The picture looks familiar.
Yeah. She's quite the rabble-rouser. She loves stirring the pot. You go, girl.
Oh, absolutely. But this, didn't God give us the earth and tell us to inhabit it and subdue it? That was the...
That's what...
Go ahead.
I looked at the Bible in Genesis. That's exactly what it says.
Exactly. So we need to take God at His word. He has given us all authority in this realm. We have no reason to cede that authority to anyone for any reason.
Yep.
So, all right. So we know what we're doing now. We're going after the Sierra Club. Who knew?
This is going to be fun.
Oh, absolutely. And I know a whole bunch of liberals who are going to come out of the woodwork hopping mad But no, you can't go on national television. See, I guess I wasn't over this.
I knew you weren't.
You just can't do this. Oh well. All right, so take a deep breath.
This is no different than the black churches getting together and blessing, or some of the black churches getting together and blessing a Planned Parenthood opening.
Absolutely. I mean, no.
You know who we need to get involved in this?
Who?
Catherine Davis.
Yes.
She would get livid. In fact, I'm going to give her a call after the show and apprise her to what Sierra Club is doing. She might already know. And I saw her last week for March for Life. Yeah, because she, boy. Yeah, talking about righteous indignation.
Right. Get a hold of her. Get a hold of Walter Hoy.
Yeah.
You know, there are.
Let me tell you what Catherine said. She's I think she's originally from Pennsylvania, but she's a Southern girl now. She is so hot and mad at Planned Parenthood and their recent foolishness that she told me that, Lonnie, I wasn't always, she wasn't always prissy. She says, I'm all about putting Vaseline on my face and taking off my earrings.
Well,
pulling my hair into a bun. She said, I'm a fighter. I go, you didn't say that. She said, you know what I'm talking about? I know exactly. Anytime you see a black woman take her earrings off and put Vaseline on her face and pull her hair back into a bun, she get ready to do battle.
As we would say, somebody finna to get hurt.
You're fit to get hurt.
But honestly, the reality is, the body of Christ, we have to be willing to fight. One of the greatest movies I think that was ever made is a movie that a lot of people don't know anything about. And the title of it is Shoes of the Fisherman. And it was done way back, I think probably in the 60s, with Tony Quinn. And in this movie, he is a Catholic priest.
Yes.
And he was prosecuted and sent to do hard labor in Siberia in Russia. Well, through it's Hollywood. So through a chain of events, the Vatican, the Pope, secures his release from this prison camp, and they bring him to Rome and give him a position in the Vatican. Well, the sitting Pope dies, and he's telling stories to the cardinals about what his life was like in the prison camp. And he told a story about this friend of his in the prison camp, and the guards had broken his jaw. And he was feeding his friend crumbs of bread, a piece at a time, to keep him alive.
Yeah.
And the guard saw what he was doing, and he fought the guard. And he said, and I almost killed him. And the other cardinals looked at him and said, but you, a priest, a man of God, you almost killed someone? And his response was, yes. But sometimes, as persons of faith, we have to be willing to fight.
Yeah, there's a time and place for everything. Is that in Deuteronomy that talks about that? There's a time for praying, fasting, time for love. There's a time and place for everything.
Right.
There is a time to fight.
There is a time to fight. And, and that line in the movie, when he said that, all the other cardinals looked at him and they were stunned because they had never considered that the role of the church is to fight.
Yeah.
And sometimes the fight can't just be spiritual. Sometimes we have to be willing to get the Vaseline and pop out the earrings.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen this movie, this is one of the few movies that I will actually watch, repeat. It's like I even own this movie. That's how much I love it. And really, it's two movies in one. And after he's elevated to Pope, you can stop watching it because it's really not that much. But that one scene where he explains that as a representative of Christ, yes, he almost killed a man because he was fighting for his friend's life. And we need to get that same fire in us about certain issues. Well, see, it's already 15 after the hour, and it's time for us to take our first break. This time is going by so fast. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away. We are the right guys.
Hi, it's your business diva here, Melanie Collette of Money Talk with Melanie on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m., we talk all things money on a global, domestic, and household scale that affects you and your wallet. You don't want to miss it.
Welcome to Lion Chasers, where faith and public policy intersect. And now, your lion chaser in the good fight of faith, Lonnie Poindexter on Urban Family Talk.
We're not saying that there's not instances where there's mutilation and injustice somewhere. This is America, and people are human, and there's sin in the world. He's the president of the first. He's the first president to say that America is not a Christian nation any longer. But, we'll pray for our enemies while we defeat them.
You can't blame folks for messing up the city. There has not been an elected Republican in council in Baltimore City in 50 years.
And the co-captain's chair with me today, Reverend Ralph Chittams.
What's happened is the social justice movement has now been hijacked by a godless movement.
Don't be bamboozled, ladies and gentlemen. Frederick Douglass was a gun-toting conservative. It's not a black or white issue. It's a God versus anti-God issue. I know those will say, well, it's all rigged. It's all a game, Lonnie. Can I get that a lot? And there's the crew that has the bags packed at the train station waiting for Jesus to come back. He'll be here in a minute. My train went by. But he's coming. Meanwhile, Rome is burning. The host of the Black Man Thinking radio show. Welcome to the show, Stanley Levy.
Good morning, Lonnie. How are you?
The core issues, the bull elephants aren't in the home. We got to do away with the entitlement programs and the things that hamstring us.
And that's where the conservative viewpoints really resonate for my generation.
I want to welcome to the show the host of the Exceptional Conservative Show, and that's my brother Kenneth McClinton. Welcome, brother.
Lonnie, it's an honor and privilege always to be with your ever-expanding audience.
Let your listeners be Lion Chasers with Lonnie Poindexter. If Lion Chasers sounds right for your station or network, contact Will Addison by email, waddison@afa.net. Encourage your listeners to be Lion Chasers with Lonnie Poindexter and Urban Family Talk.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Right Guys. I'm Ralph J. Chittams Sr., and of course sitting with me is none other than
Lonnie Poindexter, and we are broadcasting live from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., via FHR Media and the Exceptional Conservative Network.
All right, so this Sunday there's supposed to be a football game that's going to be played, and I've been told that this game is between the Atlanta Falcons and the Foxborough Confederates.
Otherwise known as?
Oh no! I refuse to say the team name. I refuse.
Yeah.
I will not. And as far as that person who takes the snap from the center on that team, he is Voldemort. He who shall not be named.
Deflator of...
Right, the deflator of pigskin.
Oh boy,
so,
I can't believe they're back there again.
So needless to say, You know who I want to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I have ever rooted for the Falcons ever in my life. But, yeah, this is going to... Now, see, I'm going to catch a whole lot of heck for this one. All right, you ready, Lonnie?
Go ahead, bro.
If the Foxborough Confederates were playing the KKK, guess who I root for?
It's that deep-rooted for you, huh?
Oh, it's hate. Oh, it's hate. It's deep-seated. I'm going to have to take this hatred to the Lord in prayer and ask for forgiveness and repent. But, oh, it's hate, and it's a long-seated football hate. So, honestly, I'm not even going to watch the game.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I want the Falcons to win, but I truly don't care. I've seen a couple of the commercials, and that they're running anti-American commercials during the Super Bowl. We're going to get an anti-American Super Bowl halftime show. So no, I don't need to sit there and subject myself to something that's going to send my blood pressure up.
And speaking of halftime commercials that are anti-American, one commercial ad produced by a brand that is synonymous supposedly with all things America, being one Budweiser, who is no longer an American-owned company, actually owned by a company out of Belgium. I thought it very interesting that they would have the nerve even to throw rocks concerning the immigration issue when they themselves aren't an American-owned firm.
Oh,
that's just me.
Right, exactly. But how is it that the quintessential American sporting event? I mean, honestly, there are a few things more American than the Super Bowl. When I think of events that scream America, I think the Super Bowl. I think the Indianapolis 500.
Yep.
I think the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
But there aren't many events that rise to that level of Americana.
Yeah.
But here at this event, they are already, through their advertising, pushing an anti-American narrative, which is then going to be punctuated by Gaga. And I'm not going to use the first word that she usually puts in front of her name because she is not that.
Well, who's the grand poobah of the NFL? Roselle, right? He has, for me, it comes down to leadership. When you think about all of this, the foolishness with Kaepernick is the leadership of the San Francisco 49ers, which I've been a 49ers fan since 1980, and I can't stand even hearing the name mentioned in sporting events. They haven't won anything in God knows how long. But it comes down to leadership. So you have leadership in the NFL who has acquiesced to this new dogma coming out of here why can't we just play football? Why can't it just be about what makes America great? Why does it have to be some kind of message to indoctrinate us into this the falsehood of this narrative that's anti-American ultimately? And so I rested with him. So Budweiser, I never was a big fan of Budweiser. I used to live down the street from Budweiser's brewery in California. I could see the sign flashing on the side of the brewery house from my backyard. How close I was.
Well, look, I can't tell you the last time. I don't even know anybody who buys Budweiser. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But I tell you what I did do. When everybody got all upset and announced that they were, I'm forgetting the name of the company now, the beer company. Yingling, yes, those guys.
My new favorite brew.
When all that brouhaha broke out with Yingling, I can't tell you. Well, I bought a case of Yingling. When that thing broke, I can't tell you the time before that I actually purchased Yingling.
Yeah, I know.
It had been years, but simply because of this foolishness, I went out and bought a case of Yingling.
Oh, and because you were hanging around me because I thought it did become my new brew. In support of it, of what it is, and America's oldest brewery. But you mentioned, couldn't think of, people love the Budweiser. Coming from the West Coast, and this will sound stereotypical, but I'm going to put it out there. And my Latino brothers loved them some Budweiser.
Who doesn't? I mean, that company, marketed itself as quintessential America.
Yeah, well, the humble beginnings of Budweiser, steeped in the American ideal. I mean, the guy that came over here from Europe, who brought the recipe and started the brewery here, is the classic American success story. He came over here with nothing.
With nothing.
Other than he knew how to make beer, and the rest is history.
Yep. Exactly. I mean, absolutely, positively. He came over here, right, with the clothes on his back and a little bag. Yep. And that's all he had. So, right, he's an American success story, but then when they tell the story in the commercial, they turn it into an anti-American hit piece.
Exactly. That's exactly what they do. And I won't touch a bottle of, I didn't like drinking it before, but I would drink it around company because I used to live in a community where, I'll put it to you this way, my neighbors would come by to visit. Guess what they brought with them?
Yeah, well,
if they all worked at the plant, and so they're all company men and women, so I just went along with the flow. So I would, thank you very much. I'd put it in the fridge, in the back of the fridge, and then break out what I wanted.
Even when I used to imbibe on a regular basis, if somebody brought Budweiser, I drink water. Because if you're drinking Budweiser, you may as well drink water. You may.
There's a big discussion going on my Facebook page about the origins of Budweiser, and Stephen Brown, who is a political commentator, chimed in. He knew the history. He says, well, technically, the Bush family that brought it over stole the name from some other entity, so there's a whole lot of going back and forth on that right now. At the end of the day, though, it was a success story, and August Bush, who was the grandson of the founder, sold it to the big Belgian chain of breweries in Europe, and they're off on a whole nother tangent. And so,
right.
Maybe we should start a boycott Budweiser. I'm just in that kind of mood today.
Hey, I've got no problem with it, but I'm done with Budweiser. Done. Yeah. This is, I think, Trish and I weren't even married at the time. So you know how long ago that was.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
Right, and so we went to one of her family reunions, and we showed up, with non-American beer. Okay, and her aunt had this farm, which had this in-ground cooler, a natural in-ground cooler. You could take whatever you want, put it in the ground, even in the summertime, and in a half hour it would be cold.
Wow.
It was absolutely amazing. So we go and we put our imported beers in the cooler.
Right.
And her cousins are like, who bought this stuff and put it in this cooler? We're like, what are you talking about? Who bought this imported stuff and put it in here? We're like, we did. What? So, of course, what was in there? All this American stuff. Budweiser and Miller and, and so, of course, they left all of our imported beer alone because, they were drinking the Budweiser stuff. Well, of course, you know what Budweiser does. It goes in one end and comes out the other in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So they're killing this stuff, killing it. And finally, they knock off all the American beer, and all that's left in the cooler is our stuff.
Yeah, that the Bushy couple brought.
Right.
From the big city.
Right. All the highbrow imported beers. And finally, they had to relent because, of course, they weren't going to stop drinking. And then it was like, ooh, this stuff is good. Yeah, it is. Now you know why we don't drink that you-know-what water that you guys have been killing for the past 4 hours. But literally, this was before we got married. This is before, I accepted my calling to the ministry. So all of y'all out there who saying, but he a preacher, calm down.
Just blame me. You say, oh, Lonnie, he's a corrupting individual.
Right, just calm down.
But I wish I could have been a fly on the wall if the bougie couple from the big city shows up and brings this imported bilge water and puts it in their cooler.
Right, and we brought all kinds of stuff, but it was all imported. It was nothing domestic. Nothing domestic. So, whatever. But
remember, I have relatives in Milwaukee, and, Milwaukee's beer capital of the nation. And if you had done something like that, they'd have run you out of the house. If it wasn't Schlitz, it didn't come in the house.
Good God. Oh, now here's one. I don't know. Did Schaefer ever hit the West Coast?
If you went to certain boutique, wine and spirit stores, you could get Schaefer, but no, it wasn't generally there. You had Schlitz, you had Budweiser, obviously. You had Miller, Olympia, and Coors, because Coors was on the left side of the Rocky Mountains, so you could get it there. That was it.
Okay, yeah, because
some of the rock that stuff, that we all knew from college days.
Yeah, let's not talk about that stuff.
No, let's not talk about that.
Right, but people, we are not advocating the mass consumption of alcohol.
No.
All right, understand that. So, stop it. All right, so, did you tell me who you're rooting for, or did we just kind of gloss over that?
Say it again?
Did you ever tell me who you were rooting for in the Super Bowl, or do you not care?
No, I actually don't care. None of the teams that I would, and I kind of been boycotting the NFL this year, just like I stated before, after the foolishness with the Niners and the management with the NFL, and I don't know if it's I'm getting old or what the deal is. I just don't have the tolerance for foolishness anymore, Rob. Football used to be football. Now it's political grandizing. On whatever side, and like I said, the leadership of the NFL needs to be bounced out of there, and they need to go back to the old guard. I miss the days of Al Davis.
Yes.
the Bartolo family for the Niners.
The real owners.
Yes.
Right. The ones who were in charge of their teams.
Yes.
But one thing that's good though is since the NFL has decided that they're going to let these little snowflakes have their temper tantrums on the field, it also opens the door for a real man like Ben Watson to step out of the shadows and live his faith and speak his faith publicly without fear of retribution, because they can't go after him if they let a quarterback with no skills act a fool.
Yep.
And Watson is a player. He produces on the field, unlike what's-his-face, Kaepernick.
Yep.
So if Kaepernick can, do his little histrionics on the field, then Watson can attend the March for Life and he can state the facts. And honestly, here we go down to a serious subject again. But when he looked out into that crowd and spoke to the men in that crowd, that was, for me, a defining moment of that entire day.
Yes.
When he said, men, it is our responsibility to love and protect our women and to not put them into a situation where they even have a reason to contemplate an abortion. You talk about you wanting to do a holiness dance? That was the moment.
He's speaking to the core of the issue of abortion. I would say the preponderance of women who have unplanned pregnancies are not looking to get an abortion. What they're looking to is leadership. And because the men are involved, I mean, not like they get pregnant by themselves.
Right. Exactly.
And so when he did that, it just speaks to something that I say all the time on my show, that, you know, you see guys, if you ever go to an abortion clinic and stand with some of these pastors that are out there praying for those mothers to be, you invariably see guys pulling up and dropping these women off like they're going to the dentist to get their teeth cleaned.
Right. Exactly. Now here's something funny. So I posted video online of Ben Watson. I posted a picture of myself with him, and guess who pops up out of the woodwork because they have to make a comment?
Okay.
The local lesbians.
But of course.
But that's patronizing and insulting. Women don't need men to protect them. That's just disgusting. That's just... Okay. Clearly, we know you have issues or else you wouldn't be doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
But to just completely attack, saying that what he said was misogynistic and it infantilizes women and it's this and it's that and it's the other. And I just looked at that statement and it was like, you know what? I'm not even going to bother responding to this because you can't be reasoned with. You cannot be reasoned with. So I just left it alone. And said, you go ahead and live your life and believe that you're happy. So
that's really all you can do with folks like that. And I find invariably I get in the discussions, and that's where they always go with it. And but see, here's the deal: you have women like that will do that, but there's other women out there going, yeah, you know, I wish the guy in my life had taken a stance.
Right.
Based on leadership and protection. And when you meet men, and as you and I both know, those that are in the pro-life ministry across the country, as in the case of the Walkers, Brian and Denise Walker, who I happened to see at March for Life last week, and you hear them tell their story and their testimony. They were in college, and when they made that fateful decision, and he said, Brian said, my wife was mad at me for years. I had no idea why. He said, and she didn't know why she was mad at me.
Right.
He said, but when it all came out, when they got involved in ministry full time as pastors, and it came out in one of those, what do you call them? They go to the sessions where they hope to minister healing to people who have been in the grips and guilt from it. And he said, next thing I know, and this is Denise telling us, they hit her, that, oh my God, is that what's going on with me? Because, you know, I love him, but I can't stand him.
Right. It's right. It's one of those spiritual cathartic moments that people need to hear. I mean, not to hear, that they need to experience for themselves. You know, one thing that I've learned is people understand God's forgiveness, but then they're not able to forgive themselves.
Yeah.
And that personal guilt that they carry around is what's killing them. You know, they go to church every Sunday, they praise God, they know God loves them and all the rest of it, but deep down on the inside, they have never forgiven themselves. And that's what's killing them and eating them up, and, you know, and it's killing them. But, you know, when you have, you know, someone like Watson, you know, maybe, you know, one of the ladies can chime in, but I don't think any woman would have an abortion if she knew the man who impregnated her was going to stand by her and stand with her.
All they need to hear from that guy is, honey, it's going to be okay. We'll figure it out. I don't know how or why, but we'll figure it out. And she's emboldened for herself to make decisions, because it's quite a choice. I mean, you know, me being a parent, raising children is it's no cakewalk. But you're emboldened to make a choice when you have the support. If you don't, and you're left to yourself, especially if you've got somebody influencing you that has a whole other value proposition, like the worst thing in the world you can do is to be a woman that's a mother-to-be and then go to Planned Parenthood looking for counsel.
Or, and this is the one that kills me, women who take advice from other women who have never had a successful relationship in their lives. Well, that's another story. We're going to get our ladies fired up in the chat room when we hit this. But we need to take a commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to these inspiring words from Pastor Donovan Larkin, Protecting Innocence, and the Chicago Ranch. We'll be right back in just a couple of minutes.
Hello, I'm Donovan Larkins, pastor of Spirit of Life Christian Center in Dayton, Ohio. But I'm also the director of Chicago Ranch and the Chicago Ranch Protecting Innocence campaign. And today I wanted to share with you some of our materials that we've developed so that you too can be part of promoting prevention, education, and safety awareness to youth. We have now our Protecting Innocence t-shirt. It's a powerful marquee or billboard that you can purchase and wear yourself that brings awareness that children need advocacy. It's a powerful, powerful piece. It's simply a picture of that with this marquee here with some additional wording on it. And you will want to be a part of that. We have posters that any of you pastors or any of you community centers, you may want to obtain some of these posters and post in the recreation center. It would be great to post this in the foyer of your church. It would be awesome for you to post this throughout the schools of your community. Involvement is what's necessary. Involvement is what makes a difference. We know that in order for evil to triumph, all that is necessary is for good men and women to do nothing. And then we have these little marquees. You can order 100 of them, you can order 50 of them, you can pass them around to your family, you can pass them around at a family event, a local event that you're going to be at a festival or something. These are very handy, they're very cost efficient, and they make a powerful statement. They really make an impact. And then we have our Protecting Innocence ribbon. And in this package, it's not only just the ribbon, but it also has a message, a safety awareness message, actually a tip. And the tip encourages parents to exercise scrutiny with the relationships that your children are involved with. Today, we see more and more children being victimized by teachers, by coaches, and by other people, other supposedly trusted individuals. And we have to prepare our children as we plan for them to be safe. And then you will want to be involved with the overall Protecting Innocence campaign, because we're making plans right now to build a retreat recovery center on our 150-acre campus where Chicago Ranch is housed. And you can get this brochure. We can email it to you. That way there's no cost associated with it, so that you can learn how you can join our Protecting Innocence team. We are communicating with people globally, all over the world, that are interested in how together we can protect children from dirty, evil childhood. We love to have you on board. We need your support. We want your prayers. And we welcome your financial contributions. Again, I'm Donovan Larkins, Chicago Ranch Protecting Innocence campaign. And by the way, camps are coming. So call us so that you can register your child at 937-422-6029. We'll see you later.
Hi, it's your business diva here, Melanie Collette of Money Talk with Melanie on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m., we talk all things money on a global, domestic, and household scale that affects you and your wallet. You don't want to miss it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the final segment of The Right Guys. I'm Ralph J. Chittams Sr., and as always, sitting with me is
Lonnie Poindexter, and we're broadcasting live from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., via SHR Media and the Exceptional Conservative Network.
Absolutely. So, you have any plans for this weekend?
No. And I should. I mean, this is Washington, D.C. There's always something going on.
Yeah, there's always something.
Yeah. I don't know. What are you guys cooking?
Look, I have no idea what I'm cooking this weekend. And yes, I want you ladies, yes, I did say I have no idea what I am cooking. Yes, I know how to cook. I'm not a master chef, but I think I do pretty well in the kitchen.
He can burn.
Yeah,
I've tasted the wares. He can burn.
I can't speak for Sister Celeste, but I'm pretty sure, no, I'm positive I can outcook Melanie.
Well, Melanie, she can't make sandwiches, so I'm sure you can outdo her. We have it on good authority.
Oh, man, she's going to kill us for sure. Yeah, no, I have, knowing me, what I'm probably going to wind up doing on Sunday is I'll probably wind up cooking a Super Bowl meal. Mm-hmm. But I won't watch the football game at all. So I'll probably have wings and nachos and, all kind, the typical Super Bowl food fare.
Yes.
But there won't be any football on my television set at all.
And nor mine. There's a sports bar within a short distance, a couple of them. One of them is packed. The one that you and I frequent sometimes. I found a new one. And that one, oh, no, you were with me that time. Yeah, so, no, you weren't. Hey, there's a new sports bar up at the Verizon Center. We got to check it out.
Okay.
I took Pastor Sylvester Bland there.
Okay, good burgers?
Yeah, they have some wings that are out of this world.
Oh. All right. Yeah, so,
like, whoa.
See, you mentioned good food. I am the definition of a foodie. There is very little that you can put on a plate and put in front of me that I'm not going to eat. And I know good food. So one of my bucket list things to do, honestly, is I want to eat my way across China. I mean, I'm talking about all of the weird street food, anything that you can put on a stick. I would love to eat my way across South China.
A lot of people don't know there's different types of Chinese food. There's Szechuan, there's Cantonese, there's all those different provinces.
Yeah, Hunan.
Different fare. Yeah, Hunan, yes.
Absolutely. I would. Now, if I do this, my beautiful bride will not go with me.
No. I thought she was a foodie.
No. She has her limits. Deep fried crickets are way out of her league.
Oh yeah, that would be out of mine as well. You do that one solo, brother.
If she knew I ate it, I probably wouldn't get kissed for a month.
Yeah. the only bug I'm eating, brother, is otherwise known as a lobster.
Oh, have you ever had crawfish?
Yeah, I've had. Well, I'm an exception. I will have crawfish.
Okay.
Two bugs I'll eat.
Those are the only two bugs.
And crawfish.
But yeah. So I have no idea what we're going to eat because I have no clue what it is I'm going to cook. But it will probably be, like I said, football food, wings, nachos, maybe some meatballs, And I'm also a cheese freak. I love cheese.
Well, I can roll with you on that, man. It's good cheeses. Ooh, boy.
Right.
In fact, was it last week we were at the Trump Hotel, and you didn't make it out there.
No.
Me, Melanie, and Don Vito, and Pastor Sylvester, and he ordered a cross section of cheeses off their cheese platter. You know, they go around when you're in that atrium.
Right.
You know, different things. You can get all types of fancy courtesan or meats and things like that. And so, man, I couldn't. I said, well, the brie cheese.
Okay.
And there were some other cheeses, man, and they were out of this world.
Yeah, well, you know, see, people sleep cheese. Now you know, if they have a cheese selection at the Trump Hotel, you know it's going to be top notch.
Oh yeah.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we frequent the Trump Hotel. We go there as often as we can. The place is awesome. Now, let me tell you what you're going to see when you walk into the lobby of the Trump Hotel. It is like walking into the World Bank or the United Nations. You will see people from every corner of the globe working at the Trump Hotel.
Yeah.
And no, the black people are not just maids and butlers. The brother, what's his title there? I forget.
He was head of concierge in the atrium there, in a very important position.
Right. He runs. He's the top dog for all of the concierges in the Trump Hotel.
And he was recruited from the Four Seasons.
Right. Recruited from the Four Seasons. So, you know, don't buy this narrative, you know, that, you know, Trump is a racist and his organization doesn't hire black people. And when they do hire black people, they only hire them for the menial, low-end, low-wage. No. Before they opened the Trump Hotel, they did a search of all the top hotels in the area and stole as many of the best and brightest that they could steal away. And that's the team they put together. And like I said, I've been going over this since before the hotel opened. I was there when they did the soft opening before they had the real opening.
I was there with you.
Absolutely. You know, and they gave us a tour behind the scenes of the rooms and everything else. And we have seen over time the team that they have assembled at the Trump Hotel gel into a well-oiled machine.
Yes, brother, and they're on their way. I guess their goal is to get the five
yes.
star or 5 diamond, whatever is rated.
They want the 5-star.
Yeah. It takes, 6 to 8 months or up to a year to get it, and they're working on that right now.
And if they keep going at the rate that they're going to get it.
Yep.
So, yeah, the Trump Hotel is the place to hang out. Oh, I know what I wanted to tell you. Talk about being a rabble-rouser. I had to go out today to do some grocery shopping. Guess what I wore?
You put on your Trump cap.
I put on my Make America Great Again baseball cap and rolled right out the house. It's a beautiful thing, Lonnie. It's a beautiful thing. When liberals look at you and you can tell the disdain they have for you, but they don't have the guts to open up their mouth and say anything to you. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I feel like Rodney Dangerfield right now.
Yeah. If you're getting respect, and they don't understand if they did say anything to you, just give you oxygen.
Right, exactly. You know, I'm walking around the store with my little shopping cart. I'm putting whatever I want in the basket. You know, I'm asking the people who work in the store, you know, excuse me, you know, where can I find this? Where can I find that? And you can see them like take a quick glance up at your hat. And then the look on their face changes. And in my mind, I'm going, what? Oh, it's such a beautiful thing, let me tell you. So, yeah, I figured you'd get a kick out of that, since you know I'm one of the few people in Washington that actually will roll out in public with that baseball cap on.
Yeah, I've been with him, and we were walking up, I think it was 8th or 9th Street, and I'm looking over my shoulder, around my back, and everything, make sure there's not anything flying from behind us that we don't see coming.
Nah.
He never took it off, though.
Mm-mm.
But,
You know, and
that's what we should do. We've got to stand up. And
Yeah.
I commend you for doing it. And like I said, I take great satisfaction in the looks on people's faces when they look at you and assume that you fit the stereotype, and then you show them otherwise.
Yep, exactly. It's it's like, even the people like the cashiers at the store, they have to wait on you. They have to be polite. They have a script that they have to follow. Even though when they see the baseball cap, their countenance changes, but they have to follow the script. Good afternoon, sir. Did you find everything that you needed? Do you have a VIC card? Oh, what is your phone number? And, but they have to say it with a pleasant voice, and you can just see it in their eyes. It's killing them. I shouldn't take pleasure in that, should I?
Well, hey, you're only human, man. And, you have to laugh because, it's a very serious thing that we're talking about. But you have to have a little levity. My God, otherwise, we would stay angry, and that's not productive either.
No. And truthfully, and the more of us who are willing to stand up and push back and not be intimidated, the better this country is going to be. Because this country has never been a country of cowards.
Ooh, that'll preach.
In our history, we're not a country of cowards. We're a country that fights.
Yep.
And that's why most countries don't want to mess with Americans, because they know we will fight.
That's why the Japanese didn't come over here during World War II. They went after Pearl Harbor, but they didn't march their behinds to any of the beaches on the east or west coast.
Nope. And nothing came across the Atlantic Ocean either.
No, other than those balloons that had bombs on them that went up into Portland and didn't hit anybody.
Right. But sending something like that over is different than loading up some ships and sending some men over.
Yeah.
Because history has proven you will never win a war with an air force alone.
That's for certain. At some point, you got to have your infantry do what it needs to do.
You have to have right. You have to have ground troops.
A rifle behind every blade of grass or something to that effect.
Right.
That's why they didn't come over.
Right. And we need to make sure that that's exactly what they keep thinking. That if you come over here, there's going to be some American behind every blade of grass with a gun ready to defend our liberty.
Amen.
Because if that's our advantage. That's our global. What other country can you think of that has built into its constitution a right for its citizens to arm themselves?
Yep.
That's a very intimidating on the world stage. Man, if we go over there and start some trouble, we're not just going to have to deal with the military. Man, their civilians are strapped.
Who was the president said, walk softly but carry a big stick?
Roosevelt.
There it is.
That's it. So, yep. I had my fun. I walked around D.C. with my Make America Great Again baseball cap. I'm sure one of these days some fool is going to press his luck and say something. But as long as it's just words, that's cool. Just don't touch me. Just please don't touch me. Because I really don't want to give interviews on the evening news. It would not be a good thing. So, all right, well, you know what? It's almost time for us to say goodbye for this week.
Yep, here we are again.
So, final pearls of wisdom from the mouth of Lonnie. What you got for us?
Oh, just enjoy life and be excited about this change that took place, and that God is still on the throne and He's moving on the behalf of His children.
It's definitely doing that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for listening to another week of The Right Guys. Remember, We are humans by race, Christians by faith, Americans by nationality, and conservatives by choice, because that is the only position that makes sense. And
if perchance you happen to catch us with an omission or an error of some sort, you will need to know this. We're still always, repeat always, again, always, are going to be right.
That's right. We're always going to be right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to this week of The Right Guys. Be blessed. Kiss your loved ones. We will see you on Monday.